Evening and welcome to another episode of the Houn Show. I think we're at episode 7. I think I meant to start numbering them. Didn't think about that beforehand, but probably should have. Welcome everyone to the stream tonight. We're glad to have you. We've got some good information to go over tonight rather. I do want to mention be sure to follow down at the bottom, follow, and enable notifications on the channel. That way, you know when we're going live. I mean, we don't even know sometimes when we're going live. We know it's going to be in the evening, but we don't know exactly when that's going to occur. So it would behoove you to enable notifications. That way, you can make sure and catch us when we go live, right when we go live. Chat is up. We monitor the chat on Rumble and all the platforms we stream on, except for Twitter. I think we might see replies. I'm not sure, but be interested if somebody would test that for us. So we do also, if you would like to schedule an appearance on the show, or perhaps you have something you'd like to discuss on the show on camera with us on the stream, uh, shoot us an email. It's dixie.shank@protonmail.com. Give us a shout. We'll, respond as quickly as we can, and we'll work something out. We would love to have you on the show. If you can't make, if you don't want to do that, you can call into the show. You can dial us. The number's at the bottom of the screen. Scrolling down there, you can see it scrolling. But just give us a call. We'll take the call on the air. In fact, let me grab my phone here to make sure. I'll see that when it happens. So yeah, so we'll answer your call on the air, and we'll put you on, and we'll talk about whatever. If we're in the middle of a video or something like that, we'll still answer the call, but we won't get you on right then. Obviously, we'll let whatever segment's playing play. But yeah, we'll try and get you on, and we can talk about stuff. So we um, also should mention that we do the whole entire live stream on Rumble. So you can, if you're watching on YouTube, in the description, there's a link to go to our Rumble channel, and you can watch the entire show there if you're so inclined. We hope you are. But yeah, so in the description down there at the bottom on YouTube, you can see the link to our Rumble channel, and you can watch the full stream there. We will be leaving this stream uh, about 15-20 minutes in before we get into anything that might violate terms of service with YouTube. So that's why we like Rumble. You can, it's a true free speech platform. And so, yeah, so our entire stream is on Rumble, along with all of our previous episodes, or at least most of them. I think there's a cutoff. We're not on some super duper premium plan with Rumble. We're using the what comes free. So, but yeah, check it out. We also have a locals page. If you want to support the channel, we would greatly appreciate it. This is all volunteer stuff done by Uno Mas and person. Uno Mas is one more, so one more person. I guess just Uno. So just one person is doing most of all the work here. As far as content delivery and building and doing all the technology and everything, trying to get it all set up and going, it's really just a volunteer type situation. We really just wanted to be able to share our opinion in the public sphere. And we felt like this was a good way to do it. It doesn't really, the operating cost is pretty low because I'm putting in all the work, not paying anybody else to do it. So there you go. But check us out over on Locals. If you want to be a supporter, it's thehounshow.locals.com. And it's just $5 a month to join. We're putting some articles up there. We will do some exclusive content up there. Also, you've got the exclusive, community chat, stuff like that. We'll do some polls and stuff to try and figure out, what people want to hear or what type of story. Maybe we'll have a couple options of things to dig into, and then we'll put that as a poll on our locals page, and you can vote, and the community can kind of set the agenda. That's our goal anyway. So yeah, so check us out over on Locals. But yeah, give us a call, 762-268-1605. We'd love to put you on the air. Hey, if you want to join the stream, we'd love to do that too. We'd have you on here. It is super simple. We just send you a link. You click the link when you're ready to go on, and it does it all in the browser. You don't have to install any app. You don't have to sign up for an account. You can put whatever for your name. So it's all good. So yeah, so definitely get in touch with us. We'd love to have you on the show. So so some unique things going on. It's kind of the news cycle is kind of like getting into this sludge type thing where there's not, there's new stuff coming out, but it's like, of course, of course it is. I mean, and I don't mean, of course it is. The news is coming out, but like, these different stories, Merchan's, and stuff going on with Trump. McCarthy's back in the news a little bit, and it's always the same old story. When you're talking about legacy media, it's just always the same old story. The Drudge is like I like to call it. It used to be, well, I guess it's still around. I don't look at it anymore because it got taken over by communists. But the Drudge Report was actually a pretty good. I know it's named after Matt Drudge, but it's pretty appropriate, I think. But yeah, the news cycle gets, and it kind of gets into a malaise where you kind of know what's coming, or you kind of expect it's just like more and more crazy talk, bullshit. The latest thing was trying to spin something that Trump said at a speech about abortion, and tried to correlate that with Arizona's Supreme Court voting, or their legislature voting, or trying to basically the Arizona state government's trying to reenact or go back to a previous abortion law from like way back when, right? 19 early 1900s, 1800s, something like that, long ass time ago. And they're trying to equate that to Trump, and it's like Trump doesn't tell Arizona what to accept, what to vote on, what to do. What? What Trump did, and the facts are, if you care about the facts are Trump appointed judges to the Supreme Court that did what should have been done years ago, which is make get rid of Roe v. Wade. Okay, first of all, it wasn't a law, right? It wasn't legislation. It was just a ruling. So it's not the law of the. I mean, it's not the law of the land. It's not a law. It's just precedent. And so they should have never ruled in the way they did back when. And so they righted a wrong by sending it back to the states and let the states decide. This country was founded on the principle of representation. And you can't get any better representation than your local state government, right? As far as voting on laws that impact individual people, that's giving the control back to the people and taking it away from the federal government. The federal government should have never even been involved in that type of decision, in my opinion, along with a lot of other decisions that the federal government's been involved in, or basically done these power grabs over the few years. But anyway, probably should have dropped YouTube before I got into all this. But anyway, it was interesting. The media kind of spinned it as some type of he's I'm not sure what they tried to make him look like, because I mean, as dastardly as they try to make him seem, he just seems to grow in popularity anyway, in spite of it. So I really don't understand what they think they're doing, because it's not helping. And every time there's a new article or a new post trashing Trump or mischaracterizing what he said or whatever, it's just like fuel on the fire, and they just keep dumping it on there. I mean, it's like, at this point, do they think it's working? Because I find that hard to believe. They believe that this method that they're doing is working. And so at some point, once they figure out that if they haven't already figured out that it's working or not, they're going to try something else. And how far are they willing to go? Because I think at this point, it's not a question of uh, beating Trump in the election for them. I think it's a question of preventing him from running altogether. And that's what they're trying to accomplish. So, they've kind of given up. I think just from the sheer desperation of everything they're doing to this man, that's exposing all of this corruption, and really tyranny kind of thing, trying to remove your opponent from a ballot. Um, so it seems to me that it's more of it's not so much a question of can we beat him in November. It's a question of we got to get him off the ballot. We can't run against this guy. No, we can't do it. Sorry, I got a sore back today. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, but a lot of news, a lot of interesting stuff. I don't know if everybody got a chance to see I talked about it yesterday a little bit, and there was that meme with Trump's head. But I know that yesterday we had an audio issue. We're working on that. We're not quite sure what's causing it. I think it might be, uh, you know, anyway, just to say that we're aware of the audio issue that occurred on the stream last night, and we're trying to figure out what is causing the issue because it's not persistent. So it's one of those things that you got to try and track down. If there's anybody in the audience that has an idea of what to focus on or look at, please give me a suggestion. But because we're dealing with audio equipment, my background, or at least my experience, is in technology, but not necessarily audio recording or media recording technology. So I'm open to any ideas, but I've done some research and we're trying to figure out what's going on with it. But we do apologize about the audio issue. You could still make out what I said, but it was crackly and popping and all that kind of jazz, and it just sucked. I mean, it's perfectly honest. Let's just say it. It sucked. It sucked terribly. And so we're going to keep working at it. Now, I can't promise that tonight's stream, because I can't hear the monitor. I can only hear what's in here, which is directly off the mic. I can't hear the output on the stream. So I don't know if it's causing that problem again. So I'll rely on you guys to put it in the chat, whether it be Rumble or whatever. Just drop in the chat, hey, it sound is, crappy, everything's sucking or whatever. And just let me know what's going on. And I'll try to correct it on the fly. That's the thing about going live. When you go live, you're live. So you run into a problem, you can't stop. You got to go to the end. So that's what we did last night. Of course, it was unbeknownst to us that we had an audio issue until we reviewed the stream later. But we're still trying to work out that process. So we may switch it to live stream. Don't automatically transcode and leave it on the site. Give us an opportunity to review. I just really hate, putting that information up and then not putting the video up because the audio went sideways. So it kind of sucks, man. It's like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to handle this and the best way to get this squared away so it's consistent and it works the same way every single time. So, it's going to be a hit or miss type situation, and we're still working at it. Still working at it. So interestingly, and I've noticed this over the past, I guess, couple of months, maybe a little bit longer. I know it's probably been a couple of months, but 50 Cent, the hip hop artist, he's been posting some interesting stuff and having some interesting comments related to P. Diddy and other subject matter as far as, the presidential race, presidential candidacy, the job that Joe Biden is doing. But he's been speaking out quite a bit. If you're on X, or what's used to be Twitter, if you're on there, I give him a follow because he's been posting some interesting stuff. I don't know, if you're even inclined to do it, check it out. It's a good point of view. I'm not super duper big hip hop fan, but you don't have to be, right? And we follow a whole bunch of people that, for different reasons, and he's worth following, I think, and gaining some insight into that culture and that community. But he's been posting some stuff. He posted this meme the other day. It was pretty funny. I saw it come up on Telegram. I don't remember who posted it, but I went and checked 50 Cent's feed, and I made a clip of it and recorded it. So I'd like to play it for you if I could. and it's actually quite funny. It kind of tickled me a whole lot, but it really kind of tells you where his head's at. You know, as far when I say his head's at, I'm talking about 50 Cent. So let's take a look at his meme that he posted the other day and see. Just you'll enjoy this.
Oh my God.
Back it up because I had tested it earlier and didn't play it right. So let me back it up. Play it again.
Oh my God.
F that guy. You damn right. That shit's that had me tickled for a few minutes. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff indeed. So without further ado, let's get in the news. Yeah, so a lot of things going on in the news today and over the past few days. There was a statement out by our military agency. Steve, what's his name? Austin. You know, the guy that got sick and disappeared. Nobody knew where he was at. Oh, I'm in the hospital, by the way. Nobody's running the show though. My aides are, my secretaries are at the Pentagon. But there was this article on Badlands Media I saw today. You know, and it's actually quite interesting read. And if you're not familiar with them, badlandsmedia.tv, it's a good site. They do have a Rumble channel. They've got lots of content, lots of videos. I'm a personal fan of the Bitcoin content over there. And there's some other stuff that I watch over there too, but good quality stuff. And they're on Rumble. I think they're on YouTube as well, but they've had some problems staying on YouTube. But anyway, so this story was interesting. It was on their site I found today. It's by Ali Tucker. Pentagon to use commercial space assets in military operations. The Pentagon is going to use commercial space assets in military operations. I wonder who that could be. When you think commercial, think civilian. The Pentagon has officially unveiled its highly anticipated commercial space strategy, which outlines the roles of companies such as SpaceX in national security. However, there is a caveat. The effectiveness of the industry will hinge on the Department of Defense's ability to adapt. So that's interesting. The effectiveness of the industry will hinge on the Department of Defense's ability to adapt. The document delineates 13 crucial mission areas encompassing domains such as missile warning, electromagnetic warfare, also known as EMP, and command and communications. This marks a significant milestone for the Defense Department, underscoring the paramount importance of space-based technologies, particularly satellite communications in military operations. Well, who do we know that has a whole bunch of satellites in space? Whole bunch of satellites in space. Mr. Musk does through SpaceX. Lloyd Austin urged defense leaders at every level to eliminate obstacles to integrating space capabilities, including dispelling preconceived notions about how the commercial sector can contribute to national security. The strategy is built upon four primary principles: ensuring access to commercial solutions, integrating them proactively before they become critical in a crisis, ensuring the security of the technology, and fostering the development of new capabilities. John Plum, the Pentagon space policy chief, hinted at the release of the 16-page document last week, along with Chief of Space Operations uh, General Chance Saltzman, who suggested that Space Force would unveil its own strategy once the Pentagon's was made public. So that's interesting. So they want to they're letting us know about this partnership. Now there was a story a few weeks ago about some spy satellites or low Earth orbit spy satellites that China was pissed off about or had some concern about because Elon Musk is putting them all over the place, right? So I mean, but he's got, dude. I think I don't even know how many satellites he's got in orbit. I know he's sending every rocket that he's sending up, he's putting 20, 22, 23 of these satellites in orbit each time. I mean, he's just like launching and it's like doom, 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 just releasing them like chaff, boom, 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 bouncing, just sending them into orbit. And the other, it was a few weeks ago, and I saw this post by Dogecoin designer, which is, I guess, an employee of Elon's, talking about space lasers and lining. So they use laser technology to basically create a web around the planet with these low Earth orbit satellites. That's where people that have Starlink, that's what serves them. But the most recent launch he launched had a like wireless technology, like for cell phones. So you can, evidently, there's going to be a feature available that you can use on your phone where they're going to give you a signal. I don't know 4G or 5G, but they're going to give you a signal to your phone, and you'll be able to make calls through it. And so you won't even have to worry about towers or being near a tower. You could be out in the Mojave Desert and make a phone call, or Moab, or Grand Canyon, or pick any remote area, and your cell phone is still going to work. Well, if you have the service, right? You're going to pay for that service. You got to pay. This is interesting. So this story here is interesting because it kind of leads into the next story. So there's been some communication. There's some back and forth going on X between Elon Musk and a Supreme Court justice down in Brazil, and evidently this guy was going after, or he was pissed. This Brazil judge was pissed because Elon told him no. The guy was asking him, the judge was asking Elon to ban or censor certain accounts or turn them off, or basically deactivate people's accounts. And these are people that are members of parliament and all this kind of stuff. So there's been this back and forth, but there was a ruling, and ALX put this out on X. Breaking: Brazil Supreme Court Justice Alexandra de Moraes has opened an inquiry into Elon Musk and X for obstruction of justice and incitement to crime. And so he has the pages from this inquiry, or this court document that was released. It was only 2 pages of it, but I do have it blown up. So we've got it blown up right here, and we can see that my highlights are not there. That is interesting. Okay, well, no problem, because I remember where I highlighted. So about halfway down the second paragraph, you can see no, not halfway down the paragraph. We'll just read it. The activities developed on the internet are registered in Brazil, in particular by law, yada, yada, yada. It is highlighted that such activities are also subject to the principle of jurisdictional infallibility. Well, let's look here. Now, I'm just going to find this section that I had highlighted. Right here. So, to make unavailable the illicit content generated by third parties and to obtain proof in judicial proceedings. Okay. He goes on to say, for the purpose of breach of confidentiality or of data or communications, to make unavailable the illicit bullshit. So basically, this guy's pissed off because Elon outed him. Is really what's happened here. Um, right here, yeah. So this is the paragraph, including okay. So the Brazilian legal system provides, therefore, for the need for companies that manage internet services in Brazil to comply with all judicial orders and decisions. You must comply. Where have we heard that before? Including those that determine the provision of personal data or other information that may contribute to the identification of the user or the terminal, or that determine the cessation of the practice of illicit activities with blocking of profiles. So, providers of social networks and private messaging service should have neither more nor less responsibility than other media, communication, and advertising media. So he's basically pissed off that Elon's been, wanting to, he's been unbanning accounts and he's not willing to ban an account that was asked. So he goes on. The next document we've got here, and this first section up at the top on the right hand side, you can see down towards the end of the paragraph of social network provider X, previously Twitter, in relation to the crimes of obstruction of justice in a criminal organization. So this judge is calling for obstruction of justice inquiry into X, really? Simply because Elon didn't want to ban accounts this guy asked him to. It's obstruction of justice. You ban who I tell you to ban. And that cessation of blocked accounts means lifting the block. So he's pissed off in this document. He's pissed off that Elon is not blocking the accounts that he's asked him to. And in this section here, talking about obstruction of justice, including criminal organization, and revealing, identifying information. I guess that's to say that Elon went and called him out on his own platform, and the judge is pissed off that they made it known. This has actually turned into quite an issue over the past couple of days. But the electoral court's penalty, a daily fine of 100,000 dollars. Really? $100,000 a day, man, unless you ban people I tell you to ban, man. Oh, well. I think he's got it covered. So this gentleman on Twitter, or X, gosh, I gotta stop saying Twitter. It's X, by God. X. This guy, Nicholas Ferraria, said, Elon said that Alexander has Lula on a leash and that he put his finger on the scale to elect him. As a member of the Brazilian Congress and representing millions of people, I ask you to give us some more information. This will be crucial for the future of our country, Elon. Elon Musk replied, we need to get our employees in Brazil in a safe place or otherwise not in a position of responsibility. Then we will do a full data dump. His employees that work for X in Brazil, have been told they will be arrested. So Elon's looking out for his people. Hell, man. What if only Biden would have done that in Afghanistan, right? Looked out for the people, got them out of there before he tried to pull out or, get all the civilians, get all that stuff, get everything packed up and leave gracefully instead of just running and letting turmoil ensue and people get killed. Elon's more responsible than our own president, or so-called president, right? I mean, maybe he is, maybe he's not. Who knows? We'll all find out in November. But there was this interesting piece that was written over here by Burning Bright. He's on the Badlands channel. Elon Musk and his platform present one of the key threats to the to the writers of the central narrative. As Brazil's lawfare department is taking aim this week, resulting in Musk waging a public war of words while refusing to comply with the globalist controlled nation's court orders. The fact that the censorship topic is getting so much play ahead of the most consequential election cycle, not just in the US, but in a record number of nations holding national elections in 2024, is alternatively suspicious and potentially auspicious. Additionally, we're getting reporting that the U.S. military plans to increasingly use private space assets in ongoing military operations. That's the article we looked at before. Specifically, Musk's Starlink and SpaceX, continuing a trend that started under the Trump admin when many of Musk's totally civilian, definitely not military infrastructure was funded. Musk is a mind mover on the game board, and the collective mind is moving in interesting ways as we near a series of inflection points in the info war. And I the thing about Burning Bright stuff, when you read Burning Bright, you do have to think about what he's saying, and you do have to kind of digest it and maybe read it a few times. He is a linguist. I mean, he is not a linguist, but he's like, Shakespeare when he's writing, So he's really good with the English language. Let me say that he's got a great vocabulary. But anyway, I agree, that Musk is really, he's been kind of instrumental over the past few months. He is calling out people like you would not believe in a big public way. I mean, the dude's got millions and millions of followers, right? So, but he is calling people out. He's saying the truth. He's saying the truth about these things, and that's what's most important of all, is that he's saying the truth. If you haven't looked at it yet, by the way, we just published our first article on our locals page. Anybody can read it. We've shared it out. You should be able to just go to our locals page without even having to be a supporter, and you can read the article. But it's about the importance of truth, and truth being absolute. Real truth is absolute. There is no such thing as your truth and my truth, okay? There is just the truth. So I've got some additional information on this. So there was a post put out by Doge Designer. This is, I guess he works for Elon. I don't know what his real name is or who it is. Maybe if I could read that handle there, that Twitter handle. I've never paid attention to it. I've always looked at the profile name. So basically, Elon went on and did a recording talking about this situation with that Supreme Court judge in Brazil and what he asked of X, what this judge asked X to do. And so we'll play this little audio clip here, and we'll just have a little listen to what Elon said.
Judge Alexander, that's his name on Twitter, at Alexander. And there would be, to suspend accounts immediately. We're given typically 2 hours to suspend an account or face massive fines. And the final straw is we were being given demands to suspend sitting members of the parliament and major journalists. And moreover, we could not tell them that this was at the behest of Alexander Morales. We had to pretend that it was due to our rules of service. And that was the final straw, and we said no.
That was the last straw, and we said no. Dude, think of the irony here. Okay, so this judge down in Brazil claims that he's fighting for democracy and he's fighting against corruption. That's what this judge in Brazil said, Alexander Morales. I heard somebody say Morales, but there's no L in there. It's just Morass. More ass. But this judge down in Brazil says he's fighting corruption, but he asked Twitter or X to do a corrupt thing. Ban accounts and then give them the reason that they violated terms of service, which was the same MO that came out in the Twitter files last year that the U.S. government was doing. They had FBI agents and field offices set up to locate accounts and figure out a way to tie those accounts to violating terms of service in order to get them banned. This judge is just doing the same thing. Did he not get the memo? That shit was shut down. That shit was shut down. When I first heard the story, I was like, this dude thinks he's gonna be able to do that. He's gonna play that game. He's gonna be able to play that game again, like they've been playing it. When Elon already shut it down and told the whole world about the game. Where has this guy been? Where has he been for the past 2 years? What the fuck? He must think he's got it like that. He's big dog. He gonna tell Mr. Elon what he's gonna do. Yeah, whatever, dude. Chump. So in response to that, so Elon said that, yeah, no, we're not doing it. And they put that recording up, and then actually, I think before I saw the recording, I saw this other video or this other post by Elon's Doge designer guy, and it's basically, here, I'll show you. He's basically showing them how easy it is to install a VPN on your phone. So if you get banned, or they ban X in your country and they block it, you could use a VPN to get to X anyway, even if your country's blocking it. So I thought that's next level trolling right there. Hey, VPNs are easy. Hey, I encourage you to get a VPN if you don't use it. Like when I travel or whatever, I always use a VPN on any of my mobile devices, laptop or phone. But I thought that was priceless there. He told him, like, look, it's easy to install a VPN, man. All you got to do is click, 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 done. And you can get out even if the country blocks you. Now, there was another story about, I don't know if I got that story up. Let's see. No, I don't. But there's some additional stuff coming out about that judge threatening to block subscription subscription, like federally, like you can't pay him for a subscription because they'll block your money from leaving the country to pay Twitter, or not Twitter, but SpaceX, Starlink to have internet service. And there's a lot of schools down there that use that because they're in remote locations. And so Elon countered that punch by saying, we'll just make it free for schools then. What are you going to do? What are you going to go around your country and confiscate the gear? Really, Judge Alexander? Who's the tyrant now? Who's corrupt now? You, buddy. People like that. It's just, like I said, where has this guy been? Who the fuck does he think he is? That shit, that damn connection between government and social media with respect to Twitter, now X, is gone, dude. It's gone. You're late. You didn't get the memo. Crazy. Speaking of crazy shit overseas, Scotland had passed a law, I guess, a while back, and it was a hate crime law, and so Scotland decided to make it a crime to be rude to somebody or misgender them, and you can go to jail for like 7 years if you misgender. I mean, it's that ridiculous, right? Which I think is extremely weird and strange. But this was posted up on Zero Hedge today, in fact. Headline is, "We cannot cope. Police Scotland deluged with politicized hate crime reports." Of course they are. So-and-so called me a pussy. So-and-so called me a a man. Ridiculous. Entirely as predicted, Police Scotland has been deluged with voracious and politically driven hate crime reports, with one top official complaining, "We cannot cope." Under the new legislation, anyone deemed to have been verbally abusive in person or online, so they can get you for your posts on your social media too, to a transgender person, including insulting them, could be hit with a prison sentence of up to 7 years. You could go to prison for 7 years if you called a man or a man that's pretending to be a woman a man. That instantly led to a flood of bad faith reports, including from conservatives making a mockery of the system. Of course they did. Of course they did. I can't help that. I mean, I'd be like, yeah, so-and-so called me an asshole today. Making a mockery of the system, and from deranged left-wing activists trying to punish their ideological adversaries, which is to be expected. That's, these people are already half fucking insane, right? If not completely. So of course they, tried to get anybody who doesn't agree with them locked up. David Threadgold, chairman of the Scottish Police Federation, said that the new legislation was being exploited to pursue personal and political vendettas. No shit. Police Scotland have gone public and said that on every occasion, reports of hate crime will be investigated. Mr. Threadgold told the BBC. That creates a situation where we simply cannot cope at the moment. They're getting too many calls and they can't handle them all because everybody's a thin-skinned snowflake, or they just can't deal with reality. No, you're not a woman. You're a man. As we reported yesterday, out of more than 8,000 reports police have received under the new hate crime law, less than 1% are leading to investigations. So they got 8,000 reports. Less than 1% of those 8,000 reports are actually leading to investigations. Police Scotland are having to pay officers in their control room hundreds of thousands in overtime to deal with the onslaught of frivolous reports. Hey, so it was a boon in the police sector as far as employment. I mean, they're going to have to hire more people to deal with all these hate crimes flying around. However, there's still nearly 800 new investigations in a single week for a police force that already has stretched resources. It's been a complete disaster, but they can't say nobody warned them. And that is true. That is true. Well, they could say it, but it wouldn't make a damn, would it? Would not make a damn. So that's the news. So yeah, I mean, it's always entertaining. A lot of interesting things going on. You got Elon doing battle with this corrupt judge down in Brazil. You got the U.S. government releasing, information about a partnership with civilian commercial space technology, i.e., Elon Musk's SpaceX. Because what other outfit out there is? I mean, I guess there's some, but anyway. And you've got this whole other thing I saw today too. Tucker Carlson is making the rounds, bro. He's been on a lot of shows here lately, he's just doing interviews like mad. He was on a show, I'm not familiar with it, Kill Tony or Kill Tom or something. Some type of it kind of reminded me of like a roast, you go and you sit at a table and comedians come up and insult you. And it was pretty funny. I saw some clips posted on We the Media Telegram channel. I think it was Ultra Pepe, one of the Pepes. I can't remember. I I get them mixed up. There's so many Pepes everywhere. But yeah, he posted a couple of clips of it. It was hilarious. And he said that there was a full length video floating around on YouTube. I have yet to check it out, but I'll definitely probably watch that because, you know, we all can use a laugh every now and then. There's nothing wrong with laughing. It's good for the soul. I want to encourage everyone to like, follow, and enable notifications down below. Please like, follow, and enable notifications down below. Hopefully we didn't have any audio issues tonight. We'll find out. We'll see. I don't know if we did or not. I can't tell until we review the stream later. That's the thing about being live. I don't have a monitor, and I don't have a team of production people sitting over here behind the camera telling me to do this and click here and do this and read this and look at that and do this and do that. I don't have all that. It's just solo operation, solo. But, you know, there's no influencers here. You know, there's nobody telling me what we need to talk about and what we need to discuss. And that's why the locals page is going to be very important going forward. So I encourage you to please check out our locals page, thehounshow.locals.com, because, you know, that's where we can discuss about future topics, other things we want to cover on a show, maybe coordinate appearances, interviews, so on and so forth. And we had just started out, right? So we're brand new. So we want to make sure, you know, that we get our name out there for one, and two, we're going to be slowly building content. So we're going to have a good bit of stuff to read. We've already published our first article on our locals page. So I encourage you to go read it. It's free. You don't have to be a supporter to look at it or read it. So just go check it out, you know, see what you think. But yes, give us a thumbs up, give us a follow, and enable notifications. That way, you know, when we go live. As always, I appreciate everyone who tuned in tonight and watched the stream. We hope you got something out of it. We try to pick relevant topics and relevant issues to discuss on the daily. And this Friday, we'll be talking about, we're still working on putting together some information and some content for it, but we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and the halving and what that means. And we're going to actually explain the halving in a different way. We're going to explain the halving by explaining the monetary policy of Bitcoin. And once you understand the monetary policy of Bitcoin, you automatically understand what the halving is, and you'll know what it is, and it'll all go off and click like a light bulb. Listen, we appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight. We hope you have a good rest of your evening, and we will see you tomorrow somewhere around 9.